Well, good afternoon and welcome to ACCA presenting Your Future, Becoming a Qualified Accountant. My name is Alexander Leach and I work in the ACCA education team in the Middle East. Thank you for joining us today. I believe we're streaming live across 3 platforms, so that's YouTube, Facebook and LinkedIn. So thank you very much for joining us wherever you are in the world and whatever platform you're using. Just a general little bit of housekeeping before we kick off and get stuck into our presentation. If you have any questions, no matter what platform, just throw them into the comments section. I'll be able to address them as we go along. And yeah, really looking forward to today. Probably take around 40 minutes to discuss the presentation, address a few areas of the ACCA in terms of what it takes to become a member, and then maybe some Q&As and some questions at the end. But quick introduction to who I am. So my name is Alexander Leach. I work within the education team for the ACCA, but I'm also an ACCA member, and I've been so for the last 5 years. In fact, I'm very much looking forward to becoming a fellow later this year. Prior to that, I used to work for a global training partner, so I used to teach the qualification, as well as prior to that, whilst I was training for my ACCA, I worked for one of the big 4 corporations. So my experience has been over the last 10 years within the professional service industry, and I really am a massive advocate as a member and an employee in a really advantageous position to tell you all about the ACCA qualification. The ACCA is the world's most forward-thinking accountancy body, and you can see that from the array of work and obviously the breadth and reach we have as a professional body. We believe that accountancy is vital for all economies to grow and prosper, and given the current circumstances and the pandemic which has ensued all around the world, we very much believe that accountancy as a profession is well placed to try and support societies and the global economies in the recovery and managing such crisis. So you're probably thinking, well, okay, why accountancy? And that's a question we get asked quite a lot in our engagements all around the world. And we'll start probably in the top left corner. Being a chartered accountant, being a member of the ACCA is regarded as a very prestigious thing to be. And we'll talk about numbers and facts and figures as we go along. But ultimately, you may be aware that when you do tell people I'm an accountant, I'm a chartered accountant, I'm a member of the ACCA, that it is a very prestigious profession and people often respect you for this. Working our way around, going clockwise, it's a diverse and dynamic career, and it also goes quite hand in hand with the opportunities in all sectors and industries. As you'd seen from myself firsthand, I've had a very diverse career in the last, 10 years, and I've met some fantastic people as a result of that career, done some amazing work all around the world, and I've been able to sort of have a passion for what I love, which is accounting and helping people. And then being able to turn that into a really enjoyable career whereby people are able to prosper as a result of this. We'll talk a little bit specifically about opportunities later on, but ultimately the ACCA and accounting is the global language for all business. So depending on your knowledge of accounting and knowledge of finance, you'll be aware that in every business, to some extent, there is conversations around costing, forecasting, even non-financial sort of performance measures like sustainability, auditing, and it's such a diverse career and there's so many opportunities that it is very much a language spoken all around the world. I've alluded to it as well. It is a very rewarding profession to be part of. And you might just think, oh, well, it's just numbers, but it's really not. It's so much more than numbers. Yes, accounting did fundamentally come from the need to collate data, but we are so much more advanced than that now with the introduction of things like artificial intelligence, robotic process automation, and all the fantastic technology that we leverage as a profession. We really do see that we're able to make tangible differences to people's lives and economies and businesses all around the world. So a little bit more about us. The ACCA has been in the world and been sort of a membership body for over 100 years. We've got 219,000, in fact, it's larger than that, but 219,000 members globally across 179 countries. So we really, truly are a global network of like-minded professionals. We have over 527,000 students. I believe it's even closer than that now. I think it's even slightly higher. So well over 500,000 students working towards the ACCA qualification. And I'm very proud to say that myself and the team support member students and affiliates all around the region to try and achieve their goals and their dreams, be that to become a member or their career progression and the success that they see as a result of becoming a member of such a global body. We have over 340 qualified tuition providers. I'll talk a little bit about them in a second, with 101 offices in 57 countries. So hopefully you can really see that the ACCA is a truly global brand, but more importantly, a global network of like-minded and connected people. The way the qualification works, it's a professional qualification at the heart, and you can see that sort of on the fourth block in this lovely little diagram here, and that's where I'll focus for a moment, the ACCA professional qualification. So it is a chartered accountancy qualification, a certified chartered accountancy qualification, and it would be regarded as benchmarked for, if you were to do this at an academic level, in line with a master's degree within the university sort of status within the UK and globally. So if you are an ACCA member, you're ultimately regarded as having sort of master's level qualifications. But that's not to say you can't actually get your own master's or an additional degree if you wish to become a member, because we have some brilliant partnerships with world-class academic institutes from all around the world. We have Oxford Brookes University, whereby many of our members, and I know my colleagues who are also members, have studied with Oxford Brookes, and I've helped many students who study with Oxford Brookes to get a degree in applied accountancy. And we also have the University of London's master's program, which is in professional accountancy. Now, what's great about this is if you are studying towards your professional qualification, you can do a degree and a master's within the same sort of realm. And imagine you're going for employment and you're considering in an interview, you know, what sets you apart? Well, really, there it is. I've got a degree, I've got a professional qualification, and I've got a master's. Now, it's not to say you have to do all of them. And that's another great thing about the acceptability and flexibility of the qualification, because it's not just about doing everything all at once. We have some entry-level qualifications, which you can see are the lower level steps. We've got the Diploma in Accounting and Business and the Advanced Diploma in Accounting and Business for those students who want to get a taste for the world of accounting, which really don't fancy jumping in at the deep end just yet. And I really like that phrase and how we've structured this diagram, because it is a very much incremental as we move through it. You don't just get thrown into a master's level, you can work through and build. And I'll talk a little bit more about the structure of the qualification as we go on. So what have you got to be able to get on the actual ACCA journey? Well, ultimately, one of the eligibility criteria is that you have 3 GCSEs or 2 A-levels or the equivalent studies in your school, including maths and English. And I just want to pause for a second there to say that we are very much built on inclusivity. We were one of the first, in fact, not the first, membership body in chartered accountancies to admit women. We are also an extremely diverse group of members, stakeholders, affiliates, partners, as you can see from our wonderful global network. And so we are built on that notion of inclusivity. We want people to be able to access quality, qualifications and education at any stage in their career or life from any background. And that's probably why you can see that we have this incremental approach to the qualification. So if you don't meet that entry level requirement, just to recap, 3 GCSEs or 2 A-levels or the equivalent for your country, you can actually start with the diplomas, and we offer a CAT, a certificate in accountancy and technician, and that will then, if you pass that, you can move into the ACCA qualification. And we have thousands of students who do that, and I've been speaking with them this week, many students who started with the diplomas and now have their ACCA professional qualifications and masters, and they've done that over an array of years. And I think that's such a wonderful thing, that message of inclusivity, where you can start anywhere on the journey and work your way all the way up to the top. What does it take? Well, one of the key components of becoming an ACCA member is professional exams. And again, we follow the notion that we want people to work in an incremental level. So the applied knowledge level in grey is very much at par with entry-level university, sort of foundation level qualifications. So we've got 3 exams at this level: the accountant in business, the management accountancy exam, and the financial accounting exam. And these are great exams. They're entry level. I used to teach these previously, and I help students now get through these exams. They're online, so multiple choice questions, and they're really great in terms of giving you a solid foundation in understanding accountancy concepts, be that debits and credits, or even, you know, the difference between a sole trader and a limited company, as well as, you know, some of your managerial and financial accountancy concepts like accruals, prepayments, budgets, and weighted average cost of capital. But not to bore you with that just yet. It's well, bored is probably the wrong term. Not to excite you with that just yet. The key message there is it's 3 exams done online, done on computer, and they really are able to access that at any level. If you work your way up the nice orange block, we've got the applied skills level, and there's 6 exams here, ranging from corporate law all the way down to financial management. And so hopefully you can see such a broad spectrum of knowledge and skills that you will be developing and on your journey throughout your examinations as an ACCA student. I personally am a big fan of the corporate law exam, as well as, you know, the taxations exams. And it's such a diverse field of knowledge that you will attain. And this, in terms of benchmarking a difficulty level, is very much like a degree level of difficulty. If you were to do the next level step up, which is the blue block, this is strategic professional level. Now, this is very much at a master's level or benchmarked at a master's level. And this part of the qualification here is where you get that level of flexibility, but more importantly, choice. And this is one of the things that's a key differentiator of the ACCA. Not only is it truly global and inclusive, we also are very aware that many of our student population are actually able to pick and choose what suits them best, because accountancy is such a diverse career. You might not work as an auditor, so therefore you may wish not to do an advanced audit paper. You might not work in taxation, performance management, or finance management. What you will have to do, however, are the 2 essentials within the professional level, the strategic professional level, and that's a fantastic exam called Strategic Business Leader, which is an integrated case study where students develop skills in such as, you know, leadership, professional skills, communication, as well as really broad business concepts, and it draws on your knowledge from all of your prior learning and brings it into one amazing case study. We've got the Strategic Business Reporting exam, which again is something I get really excited about, because this is a pure sort of purebred accountancy. You're a financial reporter, you're giving advice to people, you're working with the auditors, you're learning the accountancy standards, and you've got to show that you can do that from a high level. Just a little bit more on your option papers, just to clarify, you only need to pick 2 of these 4 exams. And once you have completed all 13 papers, you would be a member of the ACCA if you've had the necessary experience, or an affiliate, which is whereby a student has completed all of their exams. Now, one pause I get from students is that, oh, that could be quite a lot of exams. And I'll be honest, myself and my colleagues who are actually online today, we had to do all of these. And I know many students who did. And actually, it was a very fruitful journey to do all of these exams. But some of you might be fortunate enough to be at a university at this moment in time, or working towards university, and considering, you know, if your degree program is accredited to achieve exemptions from the ACCA qualification. And it is important to realize that if you are looking for exemptions, you can go onto our exemptions calculator on our website. You can just Google that quickly, pop in your degree and your university year of graduation, and you should be able to calculate what level of exemptions. You can get a maximum of 9, which I would have loved personally as a student. And I know many of our members in the region actually have been able to be successful in such exemptions. And therefore, they only have to do 4 exams to become an affiliate or a member. Just a general overall of the exams. Applied knowledge is the first 3, applied skills is the 6 in between, and then the strategic professional level, you have to do your 2 essentials and pick 2 options, because ultimately we're aware that accounting is so diverse that you might want to specialize in maybe taxation, audit, or performance management and finance management, but you only have to pick 2. While I'm on that point, many students actually say, well, I'd like to do all 4 because, you know, Alex, I really want to learn about these fields because it can help me with my employment if I go to an interview and I tell them I've got knowledge in taxation, or I tell them I've got advanced knowledge in audit. Well, the beautiful thing is, although you only have to do all the 13, you can then choose to and elect to do the additional exams if you wish to learn even further and show that to a prospective or current employer. Now, it's not just exams, and that's probably one of the best things about this qualification, because it isn't just exams. It's not like any other academic sort of qualification. So it's very different to a standard degree, your ACCA professional qualification. Yes, there are exams. Yes, you need to study hard, but we also expect our students, members, and affiliates to have an extremely high standard, or professionally high standard of ethics and professional skills. And to support our students, members, and affiliates on such a journey, we have an innovative ethics and professional skills module. Now, this is something that I have seen many people actually do retrospectively as members, and many of our team and many of our sort of members around the region and around the world actually have been doing the ethics and professional skills module. Now, it is a requirement to become a member, and before you become a member, you need to do this. So if you look at it from a student perspective, it's really important that you do this probably around the applied skills level, just before or as you move into the strategic professional level. Because, and get this, you have a 25% chance of passing, or higher chance of passing, if you do the ethics and professional skills module. And within that module, you have such a degree of fantastic skills that you will learn, ranging from commercial acumen, leadership, strategic professional insights, all the way down to analytics and summarizing skills. And it's a module that you can do online. It'll only take around 15 hours, although some students can do it quicker and some choose to do it over a longer period. They choose to do it maybe bite size. And it's interactive, so it's an interactive learning module. As well as being shown and being and doing your ethics modules to ensure that you have the ethical and professional skills, on top of your exams, we also require our members to have practical experience. Now, this is another brilliant thing about the ACCA membership, because what we're saying as a member is that not only are you intelligent and have an extremely high standard of knowledge in the accountancy, finance, and business management field, not only are you an ethical person because you're underpinned by your ethical and professional modules, your ethics and integrity, but you also have worked in such fields that are appropriate to be deemed as appropriate knowledge to underpin that. So we try and differentiate everybody from maybe an academic qualification, because we require practical experience, and that's a minimum of 36 months in a relevant role. Which leads me quite nicely into how this would work if you worked for an approved employer. I'll just caveat before I get stuck into this. You don't have to work for approved employers to become a member of the ACCA, but this is an illustration of some of the global brands and regional brands that we work with, some fantastic organizations that we have partnered with, because they have shown and designed an environment that supports ACCA members and trainees in achieving their professional goals. So our membership and our network of members ranges from the big 4 organizations, your PwCs, Deloitte, EYs, KPMGs, your mid-tier top 10, your Moore Stephens, your BDOs, your Grant Thorntons, to other organizations such as the likes of Saudi Aramco, Coca-Cola, Halliburton. And this is a huge list, to be quite honest with you. And it's just an illustration here of some of the household names, and the likes of Amazon, Emirates, Etihad, Cairo International Bank, PKF, DHL. But I could go on, and I won't. But what I will say is that these brand holding sort of household names organizations, brilliant employers, recognize the value of ACCA so much that they have partnered with us to become an approved employer. So therefore, when you were to look for employment with the likes of these organizations and many more, as a student, affiliate, or member, they would recognize that ACCA is a fantastic qualification, and it maybe would set you apart from other qualifications or students who don't have any professional qualifications. So if you are looking for work, which is, absolutely fine, given the current circumstances, we are seeing and trying to support our students, members, and affiliates, our stakeholders, through our ACCA Careers portal. And it's a global career portal, and you can find the best jobs. And also what's really good is our careers team work with these employers to actually find the right people as well. It's less of a formal recruitment service and more of a global jobs board. In fact, correct me if I'm wrong, I believe it's the world's largest accountancy and finance jobs board. And I think that's really important to be aware of. We have jobs all around the UAE, the Middle East. I've seen many pop up in the likes of Oman and as well as Qatar. And some of my colleagues, we've got things in Bahrain and Saudi. But also, if you are in the region and looking to move to another region, you can go on to ACCA Careers and see if there's anything in the UK and Europe, China, the Americas. It is truly an ACCA Careers global jobs board. One thing that is important to be aware is that you do increase your employability as an ACCA student and member as well as an affiliate. 92% of employers say that ACCA people have the skills needed to drive their business forward. We do, as a global professional body, shape the profession. We create the best careers. We offer flexibility and open access. We produce well-rounded, future-ready professionals. We build valuable global partnerships and officially benchmark at a master's level worldwide. Now, while I've got a moment just to pause for thought, I will also just take a look and see if there's anything popping up in the Q&A panel before we continue with our presentation. Oh, I can see a lot popping up here already. So we've got great live comments coming in, and I hope everyone's feeling that they're informed so far. So thank you very much for joining us. Oh, fantastic question coming in from YouTube platform, actually. So they're talking about work experience. I think it might be quite valuable just to pop back to maybe this illustrative slide here. So practical experience in a relevant role, and maybe I should underpin that in a second. Oh, excuse me. Hopefully you can still see my screen. There we go. So your work experience is not in accounting role. Well, that's quite a broad thing to say because, as you're aware, accounting is a very diverse term. So if you are looking to apply for your work experience to be submitted under the practical experience requirements, you don't necessarily need to be a pure out-and-out auditor, taxation. It would also include things like insolvency, and we have an array of different sort of finance roles that are considered, including things like restructuring, credit control. So what I would advocate, anybody who's trying to learn a little bit more about maybe the accountancy roles that would be included, or non-accountancy roles, so finance roles that would be included in the practical experience requirements, pop onto our website. You'll be able to go onto there, so type in PER, and that will tell you all of the available sort of roles and objectives that you seek to actually achieve. Got a fantastic question coming around internships as well. So within regards to internships, you can find internship opportunities on our ACCA Careers website. So if you can see at the bottom there, bottom right-hand corner, there's some internship opportunities available on there. Go onto our Careers website. I think the link's been posted now in our comments. All of you should be able to get on there. Yes, fantastic. And check out what internship opportunities we have. So just working through some more of the live comments. So I'm just checking if there's anything out there. Yeah, there's the careers link, ethics and professional skills module as well, which we mentioned earlier. And also exemptions calculator. So yeah, just to reiterate, many of you will be fortunate enough to achieve or attain exemptions, and that's as a result of the partnership agreements that we have with globally recognized universities, as well as specifically in the region, to accredit their degree program. So if you're studying with an accredited degree program of a university, you're at somewhat a step into the qualification already. You could have already done 9 of the papers vicariously by virtue of doing your degree. Great question coming in. How quick can I qualify? I think that's a really valid question. Hopefully you can still see my screen. I appreciate that I might have flicked onto a dark screen there, but many students can do that over a different and varying period of time. So myself, many of the sort of colleagues that I work with, we did ours over 3 to 4 years, but that's because we started with 0 exemptions. Many of the students that we work with in the region and around the world, if they do have exemptions, can achieve the complete exam passes within as little as 12 months. Many do it in 18 months. But that's not to say as well that you can't take longer. I've had many success stories of people who've done this over a 10-year period. In fact, I did a session a couple of weeks ago with a student who took 10 years. And I think that's the important message. It isn't just 10 years in terms of the overall exams. They did that through work experience, they did their ethics, but then again, I also work with students who got exemptions and they did it in 18 months. Some do it in 12. So it's very diverse. You can take it as quickly as you want. And I think also, if you use the exams sort of structure in terms of when to sit exams as a way to structure your progression, we have 4 exam sittings a year. We have them in March, June, September, as well as December. And that's particularly for the applied skills modules and the applied professionals modules. So we call them sessional based exams. So some students will do 1 every sitting, so that's 4 a year. Some do 2 every sitting. Some students do 2 and then miss a sitting. And again, that's really where things like your learning partners come into play. So if you do need assistance with your exams, I would highly stress the need to enlist an approved learning partner. They can be found on our website under the Approved Learning Partner directory. And these are the experts in the field of accountancy and the ACCA qualification. And they give some fantastic support to study each module, each paper, and also which papers work together and how quickly you want to work through the qualification. So just to sort of bring it to a nice sort of 3 E's acronym that we use quite a lot. To become an ACCA member, you have to obviously pass your exams. Now, we've already talked quite extensively about the pathway to success, which is your applied skills, applied knowledge, applied skills, and then the strategic professional level. Before I get stuck into the ethics and experience, let me see if anything else has popped up in the chat panel. Amazing. Arun, question, just talking about the, once you've finished it, there we go. Thank you for popping that on the screen. Once I've done my 14 papers, do I get my certificate directly or should I be showing some sort of experience? So Arun, it's actually 13 papers now. So thank you for sort of identifying that. And I think maybe I've already explained this, but ultimately, if you do all 13 papers without any experience, including the ethics module, you will be an affiliate, which is fantastic. So you won't get a membership certificate, but once you get the experience, after you've applied through the practical experience requirements, you will then get your membership certificate. So hopefully that's answered your question. Brilliant. Thank you very much. You'll also see the links in the live comments around the learning partner and approved learning partner directories. Brilliant. Haroon's popped in again. Pop that one up on screen if you feel free. Great question. Is the 10-year rule for completion still in place? I believe so, Haroon. Yes, it used to be 7 years, and now we've extended that to 10 years. And I think actually, many people will get through the qualification a lot quicker than that. But we do have students, that take their time and progress through at a slower pace. And I think that comes back to how we're trying to be open and flexible. We're trying to show that it isn't just a race to get the qualification. It's about the journey through the actual qualification in terms of the membership at the end. Right then, I can see people are responding as well. Thank you very much. One of my colleagues has just sent me a great message. Just to address your question again, Arun, it used to be 10 years. Now, actually, it's 7 years, but it's only from the time you clear the strategic professional level. So thank you for that correction. I do appreciate that. Yeah, so just to clarify, you get 7 years from the start of your strategic professional level. So if you were going to start an exam, maybe the SBL exam or the SBR exam, you would get 7 years from that first sitting. Thank you very much. So it's the 3's. You've got exams, so your applied knowledge exams, your applied skills exams, and the strategic professional level. We've also got the ethics, which is the ethics and professional skills module, which is an essential part of the ACCA qualification and helps increase your employability and your workplace effectiveness. And we've seen that recognized through global and regional approved employer schemes. And also many of you who will be looking for work can find that on our ACCA Careers website. And also, we have the need for the experience. So you must demonstrate relevant skills and work experience. So be that in an accountancy or finance role. And that's such a diverse finance role as well. Be that so within 36 months or 3 years. And you demonstrate that using your objectives that are set to you throughout your progression of the qualification. And it's great because you can do that on your My ACCA account if you do progress to membership. So, just a few summarising remarks. I know we've got plenty of time left, but the ACCA qualification is a global passport. As you can see, we are in most of the country. I think we're in 179 countries. That's correct. 179 countries all around the world, and we really do offer opportunities for social mobility. And I think that's actually a point that I maybe didn't put in the presentation, but it's something that really rings true to me. When I worked for a training partner, I used to teach people how to pass this qualification. And one of my students once turned to me and they were like, education is truly a platform for social mobility. And working for ACCA and being an ACCA member, I've been able to see that firsthand. We have such a diverse population of member students and affiliates, ranging from CEOs, financial controllers, ranging from different backgrounds, and many people are entrepreneurs. And it's just the type of thing that you think, well, actually, accountancy is really much more than numbers. It's about managerial skills, becoming a strategic business leader, and working in a way that actually adds a lot of value to the businesses and society as a whole. And that's in demand all around the world. You can see that through our members network. And that's one of the great things about being a member of the ACCA. You have connections all around the world. And as a member and as an employee, I know that I can reach out to people in China, in Russia, in the United States. And I've got, contacts and colleagues and now friends all around the world who help each other in like-minded sort of professionalism. Great stuff. I can see a few people clarifying. Thank you very much, Haroon, and Haroon as well. Nothing else popping in on the live chat, which is good. So I suppose the next question is, you're aware of the qualification and the 3 E's. You can see how valuable it is to employers and also, to yourselves in your own professional development. So how do you register? Well, you can do that going on to our ACCAglobal.com, apply now. I think it'll be popping across the bottom of the screen very shortly. And you can follow that link to register for the ACCA qualification. It's a very simple process. And I think that's really a good point to sort of state that we are a very inclusive membership body. We do, there we go, it's just popped into the comments, thank you very much. We are an inclusive membership body. We do believe in inclusivity. It's part of the foundations of our qualification. And we try to ensure that people from all backgrounds are able to access quality education and achieve the career success through the ACCA qualification all around the world. Now, I think that's a little bit earlier than scheduled, but ultimately we've got some, plenty of time here for any questions. So I would advocate, if anybody's got any other questions, if anybody would like to add anything, please do. We're live on Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube. And I know that Haroon, and a few others have been throwing in some great questions as we've gone along. So I'll just pause for a moment or two, and hopefully we'll see a few things pop in. Right then. Great question. That's just popped in on one of the chats. How does the ACCA compare to other professional qualifications we see? I'll get stuck into that in a minute. If there's anything else, is there just numbers, or should the other career options can I take? Fantastic. I'll also come back to that one. So I'll address the first question, which I think is a really, really important one. How does the ACCA compare to other professional qualifications? Well, there are, an array of other accountancy qualifications, and they're all at different levels. And I've had the privilege actually of teaching an array of different qualifications, and I will say they all have their own advantages. But the ACCA really is truly flexible and differentiates itself by having that flexibility. Many qualifications can stick you in quite a narrow lane. They can make sure that you are, working just in audit, for example. And that might not be fit for what your career journey is and will be. So if you were to say, well, actually, I'm going to do ACCA because it'll take its time over my career journey to actually show that I can do different things. So, for example, I started out working as an accountant, but now I work in professional education, but yet I'm still an ACCA member. And I know many people who work as auditors, but then work now as managerial accountants or financial controllers, finance directors. And I think that's what's great about the ACCA and what really does differentiate it. Not only is our membership body really global and diverse, but also we have flexibility in our career journeys as well. One of the other things that actually differentiates the ACCA is the entry requirements. So if I just flick back to that quite nicely. There we go, hopefully you can see this. Eligibility. We are underpinned by our inclusivity message. We do not require you to have a bachelor's degree or a university degree. We require you to have a minimum standard of maths and English ultimately. And that's because we are aware that although you might not start with a degree, you could start at any level. And that's also really telling in our demographic and diversity again of our members. People start the qualification at different stages of their career, at different stages and ages of their life. So just to sort of summarize, the qualification is very flexible, as you can see from the strategic professional level. It allows for career diversity as opposed to being pigeonholed in pigeonholes, quite a colloquial term, but being sort of penciled into a small hole. And ultimately we are trying to attract people from all different backgrounds. How is the exams conducted as of now? Arun, you've had some fantastic questions coming through on Facebook, and I'll just move forward with the slides as well so it's appropriate. So the exams themselves range depending on the level, but currently we are offering our strategic professional level on paper format, and we'll be looking to do that from September. Our applied skills, the mid-level applied skills level is done on computer-based exams, and they can be done at computer-based centres. And we've also got the first 3 to 4 exams. We've also been innovating and trying to be agile in these difficult times with the use of remote invigilation. So if you're at that level of qualification, so the first 4 exams actually can be done at home now, which I think is a fantastic way of helping to ensure progression. Brilliant. Right then, everyone. Would you reckon, great use of language, I really like that. I reckon an 11th grade student can start preparing for an ACCA, or is it better after 12th grade? Truth be told, Arun, we have students who've been as young as sort of 15, who've actually, 15 and 16, who've completed the exams. Now, obviously, that's a rarity as opposed to the rule. So students from different ages are able to do the examination. Many school students actually start on our foundation. So they may choose to start with the foundation in accounting instead of starting within the full sort of ACCA professional qualification, and doing that with something like a BCom and working alongside of it. And that's had really good success for students, and it helps them to then progress maybe on to doing the Oxford Brookes degree as they move further, getting the professional qualification and then progressing on to the master. So they end up leaving with ultimately 3 very high level qualifications. After completing high school, thank you, Rosh. Is it better to study ACCA directly to get into college and get a maximum of 9 exemptions? I've heard those who do the professional papers after completing university often face more difficulties and compared to the ACCA students. You aren't wrong necessarily there, Rosh. Now, as I'm sure you can understand, each student is very individual, very different, so they all have their own academic story as well as their professional experience. And one of the great things about the ACCA qualification and its exams is that if you have got the exemptions and you do move straight into the strategic professional level, you should be able to progress through them with the support of a study partner as well as those who don't have the exemptions. It isn't necessarily cut and dry in terms of it's one's harder than the other. I would say that if you're considering this for yourself, Rush, that you should really take the advice, maybe get in touch with us. We can look at your situation individually and try and figure out which is the best way to get into to actually progress through the qualification, depending on your own circumstances. Great question there I had. Well, I talk about getting in touch, actually, Rosh. Here's our contact details, but we've still got, plenty of time for more questions if anyone wants to pop any more in. But yeah, if you do want to get in touch, our educationme@acccaglobal.com is our email. We have our telephone number there, or drop into our education or our ACCA hub at www.accame.me. I'll pop that back on in a second. I'm hoping we get one or two more questions and things just pop up in the chat box. Here we go. Yeah. How effective are online learning courses? Well, in this current circumstance, they've been actually really well received. And you're probably thinking, well, yeah, actually, Alex, we're watching you on an online learning platform effectively anyway. Students have been able to progress through the qualification by studying online. So very much like what we're doing here with a tutor, a chat panel, and they could have the material in front of them, or even they could use a learning management system to do the actual integrated platform, so the materials would be on screen as well. It's been a really useful tool, particularly in with our learning partners, approved learning partners, having some fantastic innovations in teaching students online learning. And they've had, years of experience of doing this. Many of them have been doing this prior to anything to do with COVID. And the pass rates are significantly, on par with, in some instances, many students actually can study at home, work-life balance. Many of them have families, and they try to study at home anyway. Now, that's not to say that there isn't necessarily, some discrepancies. People like the face-to-face interaction, and many of our learning partners are often, in fact, some of them are actually already back up and running face-to-face with social distancing. But the answer to the question, which is how effective is it, it's still very effective. We see some great success. We see some global prize winners, and it very much comes down to your own learning styles. Some students like to do a blended learning approach. They may choose to do some of the course online and then some in class. Some may choose to do particular modules. We see students doing the law module online, but then going into class to do potentially the tax module. Great question as well. Why is it important to take supported learning? Can we study for exams ourselves? It's a dangerous, slippery slope for me to go down this one, but I'll be very clear here. I cannot stress the value and the importance of trying to get some support through this qualification. Whether it's, accountability buddy, somebody else who has done the qualification, or, in the sort of direct question, a learning partner. These are the experts who have many students and many success stories of people who go through the qualification and achieve exam and career success. There is a correlation between those students who do get support through a learning partner and those who do not, versus those who do not. And those who do get support, unsurprisingly, achieve higher success rates. Now, that's not to say you can't study at home. And again, I come across many people who choose to do that because we try to be inclusive, and we appreciate that globally many people might not be able to get or afford an online learning partner or one face-to-face. So in that instance, you can buy from our approved content providers, and you can buy the study material from the likes of Kaplan or BPP, who are approved content providers, and they will be able to help you with the books virtually or actually in physical copies. And there's also some fantastic cost-effective online learning platforms out there. I know that we've had one recently, the BPP Enhanced Learning Platform, Enhanced Classroom, I believe it's called. And that's a fantastic, affordable option for many students who are looking to enter and get support. But yes, just to clarify, you can study it yourself. I would highly stress going and checking out our approved learning partners and consulting with them to get support, because the success rates are higher. Just looking at some of the live comments coming in. How easy is it to get a job after completing all 13 papers? Truth be told, again, it does come down to the individual, but it is a lot, you are a lot more attractive as a result of the ACCA affiliate status than you would be with somebody without it. And that's because ultimately you have shown the dedication, the technical knowledge, the expertise, the ethical standards that is required within the workplace. And what you do find is that many employers, as you've already seen, recognize the ACCA as a very prestigious and global qualification. So if you've already done the actual exams, you're already a step closer to that dream job. Another fantastic question, and another point that actually differentiates the ACCA in terms of the price of it. Registration is, I believe, not too expensive and considerably less than if you were to go and do a degree at a university. If you were to look at the enrolments for each particular exam, they range somewhere in a region of around £100 to £200. So if you were to take an average, it's not a significant, well, it is a significant, that's probably wrong for me to say. It's not a great deal of expense compared to a degree. And I think that's important. This is a cost-effective way of getting a professional qualification without necessarily putting too much strain on comparison to going to a university. I've got a good question and run coming in. Do I get benefits, any benefits in the future if I have done my CPA or CMA? So these are two alternative qualifications, or also, you know, partnership qualifications. Truth be told, I actually think that we have some form of agreements with the CPA and CMA, but ultimately the big benefit there may be that you are, you know, you're qualified with more than one chartered accountancy professional qualification, which again wouldn't hurt you. But that's not to say that CPA and CMA are the only exclusive ones. You could also get dual qualification with something like CIPD. So you might want to do a HR qualification, or you might want to do your legal practicing certificate. So you might want to move and do a legal certificate as well. But while I think of that, while I talk about certificates, if you are considering, you know, having more than one feather to your bow, so to speak, or more than one string to your bow, the ACCA isn't just the standalone professional qualification. You've also got our certificates. We have certificates in digital innovation, finance. We've got certificates in international financial reporting standards, as well as diplomas. And that's another fantastic differentiator about ACCA. Yes, you can do an Oxford Brookes degree, you can do a University of London Masters, you can get the ACCA qualification. But if you seek to continue to develop your knowledge, you can also do our certificates in public finance, as I've said, international financial reporting standards, and there's so much more to it than just the one thing. There was a question earlier that I've not be able to come back to, and I'm just going to scroll back up now. And it was around the sort of diversity of career, and it's not just numbers, I think. So I'm just trying to find that now. But while I do that, there might be a few other things that I see. Thank you for all the questions that have been coming in. It's been really engaging. I found this very enjoyable. There we go. Oh, there we go. Is it just, there we go. That's the question I was looking for. Thank you, Helen. Is there just numbers, or is there other career options I can take? Not to hammer the point down too much, but again, you know, it isn't just numbers. And I sort of mentioned it earlier. Accounting is the global language of business. So why not become very fluent in it with ACCA? And I think it's easy for me to say that, but I actually often don't appreciate the knowledge that we have as a membership body, and the diversity of people who actually don't really work with numbers anymore. So they can show competencies in accountancy, in finance, in law, in business management, in leadership. But it's not just numbers. We have our members who become experts in corporate governance, in risks, internal controls, internal audit. It isn't just about a set of financial statements, profit and loss. It's so much more. Brilliant. Yeah, I can see popping in the comments now. Check out the video, Future Ready Talent. Yeah, lovely short video there, only 1.5 minutes, and it really summarizes and brings home the actual sheer value of the ACCA qualification. So at the end of this, if you get a chance, just spend a couple of minutes watching that. I found it really, really inspirational, actually. Right then, how are we getting on? Anything else in there? Right then, just bear with me 1 second. Thank you very much. Will this video be live available on the page? Yes, Arun, I do believe that the video will be live on YouTube at least. So if you want to watch this back, please do. I think it's probably a good time actually just a flick into how to stay in touch, because I do think it's important that if you do want to reach out to us, you can contact us directly at educationme@acccaglobal.com. You can give the office a call on +71 04 391 5451, or you can visit our Middle East hub, which is www.accame.me. And yeah, you're already hopefully following us on our social media platforms. So hopefully you are following us on LinkedIn, following us on Facebook, and also on YouTube. So yeah, I think thank you very much for your comments there, and thank you everyone for saying it's a very informative session. Hopefully you have found this useful, and many of you are watching this back. Please get in touch if you do have any other further questions. And I think maybe that might be a good point. If there's nothing else to add, I'll just give the team a second to see if I've missed anything, and we'll pop that in the comments if anything else comes in. Brilliant. Right. Thank you ever so much, everyone, for joining us. Hopefully you found that as fun as I have. Time flies when you're having fun. And I hope to see you all very soon on one of our next live sessions. And do take care. Take care. Bye-bye.